Okay, so F6, that is business taxation. All right, and over here we are basically covering UK tax. Okay, the tax variant is UK tax. Okay, now over here, basically we will follow Finance Act 20. So in text paper, we have some Finance Act. Okay, so this, like you must be knowing that it keeps on changing every year. Okay, so the rules that we are going to study, those rules are relevant from the period of 1st of June 2021 and it will last till 31st of March 2022. Okay, so it means that whatever rules we will study, that will not change for 1 year. Okay, that will remain same till 31st of March 2022. So you can give your paper at any time during this period. Like if you want, you can give it in June 21. But let's suppose if you're not able to give it in June 21, then maybe you can go for September attempt, December attempt, because the syllabus will remain the same till 31st March 2022. Okay.
Why the
Okay, now over here we have five key areas, five key topics that we have to cover. Okay, so these
okay,
are the only topics that we have in our syllabus. Now, what are those topics? The first topic is income tax. So over
okay,
here we will
income
look
tax.
at, yeah, over here we will look at the taxation for individuals. Like individual means you, me, or anyone else, right? So we have to see that, let's say when I receive my income, so how I have to pay the tax, how much tax will I be required to pay? Like let's say if you're doing some job, so you must
Okay,
be earning some salary, right? You must be getting some salary from your job. So obviously on your
okay,
salary you have to pay the tax, right? So we
yes,
have to learn that how much tax will be paid on that salary. Okay, how much tax
okay,
will I have to pay on the salary? Or what kind of relaxation will I receive from the tax authorities? Because
mm-hmm.
you don't have to pay tax on your entire income. Like in each country there is a limit. Okay, like if your income exceeds that limit, then only you have to pay the tax. Okay, so we
Okay,
have to look at the limits as well, that what is the limit in UK. Okay, when I will be required to pay tax and how much tax will I be required to pay. Okay,
and this limit can change every year.
this the types of income, no, that types of income obviously that will remain the same. Like because the
Okay,
individual, like if I talk about you or me, I can earn income from, let's say, my job, that will be my
mm-hmm.
salary. Or I can, let's say, earn income from by giving my property on rent, right? Like I have a property, I have given that property on rent, so I will be
Okay,
generating some rental income, right? Rental income.
mm-hmm.
So you have to pay tax on that income. Or it could also be the
Okay,
case that, let's say, I have deposited some money in bank. Okay, so you will
okay,
receive some interest on it, right? You will receive some interest on your deposit. So that is what, that is your interest income. So again, on that
okay,
interest income, you have to pay the tax. Or it could even be the case that, let's say, I have purchased shares of a company. So I will receive
okay,
dividend income on that, right? Dividend income. So again, on
okay,
that dividend income, you have to pay the tax. Okay.
okay,
So first of all, over here, we have to see that from which sources we can earn the income from. Like I have given you
okay,
few examples, right? So we will document those
okay,
examples as well. Okay, then later on we will
okay,
see that how to apply tax on those income. Okay,
okay,
so that is what we have to look over here in income tax. Okay,
okay, okay,
firstly
very
we
good.
will see that from where we can earn the income from and how that income will be computed. Like let's say if you have property income. Okay, so I have identified property income. So first of all, I
Okay,
will see that how that property income will be computed. Okay,
okay,
what is the format for computing property income? Then we will see that how to apply tax on that property income. Okay, so
uh-huh.
there will be two steps over here. First, the calculation of income, and then how to apply tax on that income.
Okay.
So that is the first area. Then the second area is capital gains tax. Now let me just give you an idea about what is capital gain tax. Now let's say I have a fixed asset with me. Okay, I have some plant. I have a plant with me.
Mhm.
So if I sell that plant, so if I sell that plant at a gain, like let's say initially I have purchased that plant for $100. Okay, and now I have sold that plant for $120. So in day one you have purchased it for how much? $100, right? And now you are
Yes.
selling it for $120. So it means you
Mhm.
have made a gain of $20, right?
$20.
$20. So
Yes.
that gain is basically known as your capital gain. Okay,
Okay.
and
Very,
you
very
have
good.
to pay tax on it. Okay,
Okay.
like, and it could also be the case that let's say you have purchased shares of a company. Okay, so normally we purchase shares so that we can sell it at a high rate, right, and make some profits. That is the main objective, right, whenever we are purchasing shares of a company. So normally we have two types of objectives in our mind. Firstly, the first objective is that I will sell it at a later date. Whenever the share price increases, I will sell it at a later date and make a profit out of it. And what is the second objective? That is to earn
Have a
some
dividend.
dividend income, right?
Yes.
So over here we are talking about capital gain. That is, I
Okay.
have purchased the shares for uh, profit appreciation. Okay, like let's say I
Okay.
have purchased a share today for $10. So if tomorrow, if the share price increases to let's say $12, I will sell it, right? Because that was my main objective, right? To make a profit. So I have
Okay.
purchased it for 10, I will sell it for 12. So it means I will make a gain of $2, right? So that is your capital gain. You have to pay tax on it. Okay.
Very, very clear.
So that was capital gain tax area. Then the third area is inheritance tax. Now, what is inheritance tax? Now, inheritance tax means the tax which will be paid on transfer of state. Okay, the tax which will be paid on transfer of state. Like let's say Mr. X, whenever Mr. X will die, so all his property will be transferred to, let's say, his, uh,
Children.
yeah,
To
children.
the children. Okay.
Yeah,
Or wife.
yeah, to the children, to the spouse, to the
Mm.
siblings. So that will obviously depend upon his will,
Mm.
right? So the point is that whenever the property will be transferred from Mr. X to the beneficiary, that is to his children, so when the property will be transferred, so you have to pay tax on it. Okay, so you will
Okay.
pay inheritance tax on it. Okay, now it's not necessary that you will only give those assets on death. Okay, you can even give those assets during the lifetime. Okay, so it
Okay.
could you can even give the assets during the lifetime, or you can even give them on death. But the point is that you have to pay tax whenever the state is transferred, so you have to pay tax on it. So that is your
Okay.
inheritance tax.
Okay. Very clear.
Now the second last area, that is corporation tax.
Mhm.
Okay, corporation tax basically means the tax which needs to be paid by the companies. Okay, previously we were talking about tax which needs to be paid by the individual, that was income
Mhm.
tax. Now we are
Okay.
talking about tax which needs to be paid by the companies, because obviously companies, they will do business, right? They will make some profit out of it. Okay, so on that profit they have to pay tax.
Okay.
Okay, so whatever profit you have earned, okay, you have to pay tax on it. Okay,
Okay.
and our last area is VAT, that is value added tax. Okay, so this is also known as sales tax. Okay, this is
Mhm.
basically a tax which is paid on purchase of goods and services. Okay, like let's
Okay.
say if you go to the market and if you purchase anything, like let's say maybe you're purchasing some grocery or something. So if you just look at the packaging, so you will find that they will mention the price of that product, and in that price they will add some text, right?
Okay.
And you have to pay the the net amount. Okay, they will take the, let's say the price of the product is $100 and they are charging a tax of $12. So in total you have to pay $112. Okay, so
Okay.
whatever tax you are paying on purchase of that good, so that tax is basically known as value added tax. Okay, and that is paid by the final consumer. Okay, that will be paid by you, that will be paid by me whenever I will go and purchase some goods from the market, or whenever I'm taking some services, so I have to pay tax on it. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
so that is VAT, the area of VAT. So this is the the smallest area of the syllabus, the smallest topic. So it won't take much time. Okay, so this area is the smallest one. And if I talk about income tax area, this is the biggest area of the syllabus. So
Okay.
it means that around 40 to 50% of our time that will be spent on this area, income
Okay.
tax. Okay,
Income tax.
and we will start our syllabus from income tax. Why? Because many rules that we will study in income tax, they are overlapping. They will overlap with the rules
Okay.
that you will study in corporation tax. So these areas, all these areas, they are linked together. Okay. So
Okay.
like when I will
Okay.
make you study this corporation tax, so you will see that many rules they will be coming from income tax area. So there
Okay.
will be a lot of overlapping over here. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So there are many linkage between the topics over here. So you need to have a very good understanding regarding the topics.
Okay.
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 Okay. So that was a very brief introduction regarding the topics that we have to cover. Okay. So we will
Okay.
look
Okay.
at each of the topic in much detail. Okay. And our approach that will remain the same. That is, firstly, we will take an understanding about the topic. Okay, then we will look at some example questions for each area, and then we will move towards the kit questions. Okay, so for the topic understanding, then we will look at our example questions and then the kit questions. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, now coming to the paper format. So the paper, in the paper we have three sections: section A, B, and C. Okay. In section A, we have 15 objective test questions. Okay, objective by objective test question, I means that we have MCQs and MTQs. You must be having idea regarding the MTQs, right? That will be a
Yes, I
small
know. I
scenario.
know. I
Okay,
know. I
and
know.
then they will give you few requirements related to that scenario. Okay. So each MTQ that will be for 2 marks. Okay, so it means that you will be this way, you will be getting 30 marks from section A, because each question that is for 2 marks. So 15 into 2, that makes a total of 30 marks. Okay,
Okay.
now this section A, this can come from any part of the syllabus. Okay, so it can come from any area from the syllabus. Okay, like maybe
Okay.
he can give you a few questions from income tax, few questions from capital gain tax, few from inheritance tax, etc. So over here,
Okay.
he will test the entire syllabus. Okay, he will try to
Okay.
cover each and every area from the syllabus. So it means that you cannot leave anything over here. Okay, because
Uh, uh,
examiner, he will try to cover each and every topic. Okay.
please give me. I want to.
Okay, then section B. In section B, we have 3 MTQs, and each MTQ that will be for 10 marks.
Okay.
So that means that from section B, again, you will be getting 30 marks, right? Okay, now over here, basically, the first question that can come on BAT. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
the second one can come on IHT, that is inheritance tax.
Okay.
And the third question that can come from capital gain tax, CGT. Okay, so that is a normal pattern that the examiner follow. But it's not necessary that he might always give you a question in question one on BAT, question two on IHT. He can even change the sequence. Okay, so that's not necessary, but this is a normal practice of the exam. Okay, so if you look at the past exam question, so you will see that this is how normally it comes in the exam. Okay, so question one that is normally on BAT, two is on inheritance tax, and three is on capital gain tax. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, then
Okay.
finally we have section C. So in section C, you will find long questions. Okay, so over here there will be three questions, and what is the total weightage for the that? That is 40 marks. Okay, so question one that normally comes on income tax, that will be for
Mm-hmm.
15 marks. Then question two that will be on corporation tax, again for 15 marks.
Mm-hmm.
And question three that is unknown. That means it can come from any part of the syllabus. Okay, maybe it can come from VAT, or it can come from inheritance tax. So this is unknown. Okay, this can come from any part of the syllabus, and this will be for 10 marks. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
this way you will be getting 40 marks. Okay, 15 from question one, 15 from question two, and 10 from question three, making a total of 40 marks. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
All right, now since these are long questions, so it means that they will be, you have to use your Excel plus your Word file as well. Okay, so for the theory area, you will write down the theory in Word file, and you will perform all your calculation in Excel.
Okay. Very
Okay,
clear.
all right, so that is the paper format. Okay, so we have three questions. So we have discussed the paper format. We have also discussed the syllabus. Okay,
Okay.
now if you ask me that how much uh, calculation will I find over here, or how much theory will I find over here. So let me just tell you that over here you will find mostly computational questions. That means that over here we have more calculation and less theory. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So and the theory is rule based. So it means you
Okay.
have to learn the theory. If you remember the rules, then only you can write down the theory. Otherwise, you can't write down the theory. Okay, because this is not your F9 paper or any other paper. Because
Okay.
in F9, if you, even if you don't remember the things, you can maybe using your own understanding and using whatever the concept you have built in the class, you can write down the things in your own words. Okay, you
Okay.
can manage the theory, you can manage that theory on your own. But this is something that if you don't remember it, then you can't write it. Okay, this is not
Okay.
conceptual based. We don't have any concept for that. Okay, but this is totally memory based. If you remember it, then only you can write it down. Okay, and
Okay.
over here there will be a lot of rules. Okay, so just make it
Okay.
a point that after each class, just learn the rules. Okay, and just keep on memorizing it. Okay,
Okay.
otherwise as you will keep on moving forward, so you will start forgetting the previous rule. Okay, maybe in
Okay.
the class you will find the rules very easy. You might think that okay, I will remember it, but that is not the case. Okay, as you will keep on moving forward, you will
Okay.
keep on forgetting the things. So it's better to keep on learning the rules from day one, and just make your habit to revise each and everything. Okay,
Okay.
before starting the new topic, just make it your habit that you revise the previous things first and then start with the new topic.
Okay. Very clear. Very clear for me.
And I will help you in the class in remembering the rules as well. Okay. I
Okay.
will try to provide some summaries as well. Like at the start of each class, we will try to first revise all the previous rules, and then we will start with the new area. Okay.
Okay.
So normally over here you will find 80% calculation based questions and 20% theory. So it's
Okay.
that is the normal pattern of the paper. 80% calculation and 20% you will find your theory.
Okay.
Okay, now if I talk about some basic things. So we have to start from income tax first, right? So first of all,
Mhm.
income tax for individual. Okay, right now we are looking at the taxation for individual, that how individual will pay the tax. Okay,
Mhm.
so firstly you need to know regarding the types of tax. Okay, we have two type of tax. One is direct
Okay.
tax and the second one is indirect tax.
Okay.
So direct tax, that is something which is paid on your income and wealth. Okay, income and wealth. Like it is paid
Mhm.
on gains, whatever gains you have made, that is capital, you will pay capital gain tax on it. Okay. Then if you have earned any income during the year, so
Mhm.
again on your incomes you have to pay direct tax.
Okay.
Okay, like your employment income, on your employment income, on your property income, okay, on
Okay.
your interest income, you will pay direct tax. Okay, income tax. And what is the third one? Like let's say if you have earned any profit. Okay, like let's
Okay.
say you are doing your sole trader business. So whatever profit you have made, so on that profit, whatever tax you will pay, that tax is basically known as your direct tax. Okay, or let's say maybe you are doing some partnership business. So whatever profit you have received against that partnership business, so again you have to pay tax on it. Okay, so that is your direct tax.
Okay.
Okay, so the point is that this will be paid on your income and wealth.
Okay.
And what is indirect tax? Indirect tax is basically paid on consumption of goods and services. Okay, it applies on,
Okay.
it applies on consumption of goods and services. Okay, so it
Okay.
doesn't apply on income and wealth. It only apply on consumption of goods and services.
Okay.
Like your value added tax, that is indirect
Mhm.
tax. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. Okay. Very clear.
All right. Now over here, I have mentioned before also. So over here we will follow new Finance Act,
Mhm.
that is Finance Act 2020. So that is relevant for 2021. Basically, we are studying the tax rules for previous year, not for the current year. Okay. So even
Okay.
if you know, if you look at the tax rate of UK currently, so they might be different from the one that we are studying, because we are studying the rules for previous year, not for the current year. Okay, this is how it goes. Your syllabus goes. We always study the rules for the previous year, not for the current
Mhm.
year, because current year that has not yet ended, right? So maybe there might be
Mhm.
few revisions during the year. So that's why they always ask us to study the rules for the last year, not for the current year. Okay. Okay, now for the individual, you have to remember one thing, that over here we pay tax according to tax year. Okay, we
We
pay
pay
tax
tax for.
according to tax year, which is also known as fiscal year. So over here we don't have any accounting period. Like in accounts, you have studied accounting period, right? Whatever calculation we perform, that we perform our calculation according to the accounting period. Like let's say if my accounting period, that is from 1st of January 2020 till 31st of December 2020. So now you will perform all the calculation between that area, right? 1st January 2020 till 31st January, 31st December 2020 till your year end. Okay,
Yes.
that is how we
Yes.
perform a calculation in accounts, right?
Mhm.
But over here we don't follow any accounting period. In tax we never follow any accounting period. We always follow tax year, which is also known as fiscal year. Okay, so maybe in the books you might find a word fiscal year, so that means the same. That means your tax year. Okay,
Okay.
so now you know in your accounting period can be different for every company, right? That depends because they have a choice. They can keep the accounting year end at any point wherever they feel. Maybe for some companies they have an accounting year end of 31st of December. Some might be having an year end of 31st of March. So that depends, right? That can vary from company to company.
Yeah, yes,
But
you are
this
right.
tax year, this is same for everyone. It can never change. Okay, it is always same for everyone. It can't change. Okay, so it is
Okay.
fixed. Like your tax year is fixed. It can't change.
Okay. Okay.
So
Very
tax
clear.
year, okay, so tax year that will basically start from 6th of April of any year and it will end on 5th of April of any year.
Okay.
Okay, like right now we are studying the year 2021, right? 2021.
Okay.
So it means that for us, the tax year will start from 6th of April 2020 and it will end on 5th of April
Oh,
2021.
okay. Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
but it's not necessary that maybe in the exam, here maybe he might made a question on the text year, let's say 1920. That's
Okay.
possible in the exam. Okay, so it's not necessary that every time he will make a question on the text year 2021. Maybe he might made it. He might made a question on last year, but it
Okay.
doesn't matter. Okay, even if he has made the question on the last year, it doesn't matter. Still, you will follow the rules of the current year. You will follow the rules of Finance Act 20. Okay, so
Okay.
he can make question on any year. Okay, so
Okay.
but that doesn't matter. You will follow the rules of current year, which whatever rules we are studying in the class, you will apply those rules in the question. Okay,
Okay. Mm.
like let's say maybe he might made a question on the year 1920. So when will this year start? It will start on 6th of April 19 and it will end on 5th of April 20, right?
Uh-huh.
Or maybe he might
Yes.
make the question in the year 1819. That is also possible, right? So this
Uh-huh.
1819, this will start on 6th of April 18 and it will end
Okay.
on 5th of April 19, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Very clear. Very clear for me.
All right. Now, you should be knowing that how to, write down the text here. So like over
Okay.
here, this text here, which is starting from 18 and will end on 19. This is basically known as a text year of 1890.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like let's say if I write down over here that text year will start on 6th April 15 and will end on 5th of April 14. So now you will say
Uh-huh.
that this is a text year of 15, 14, 15, right? 14, 15.
Uh-huh.
Sorry. This is 14 and this will end in 15. So it will start in 14, right? And it will end in 15. So I will write down this is a text year of 1450. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like for the
Okay.
previous one, I have written 6th of April 18 till 5th of April 19, right? So this
Okay.
is the tax
Okay.
year of 18 and 19.
19. Okay. It's okay. Very clear for me.
Okay. Let me give you a question over here in this area. Let's say, for example, Mr. A have given property on rent on 6th of April 17 for 3 years. Okay, and let's say the annual rent is 40,000. Okay.
Mm.
All right. Now you have to identify that what will be the rent from the tax year 1718 till 1920. Okay, that is what you have to identify from the scenario.
Mm-hmm.
That how much will be the rent from the tax year 1718 till 1920.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Now just look over here. Can you see that property was given on rent on 6th of April 17? 6th of April 17.
Okay.
Okay. So if I talk about the tax year of 1718, so 1718 tax year that will start on
Start on
April 17,
Ap-
right? And it will end on 5th of April
5 April
18.
18. Yes.
1718. That is how you will write down 1718.
Mm.
Okay. Now can you see that property was given on rent at the start of the tax year, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was not given during the mid. It was given right from the start of the tax year. So that means that for the tax year 1718, this whole income, this whole 40,000 will be taxable, right? For this whole year,
Okay.
you will earn this income of 40,000, right? Because it
Yeah.
was given right from the start of the tax year, right? Now let's say if it was given during the mid of the tax year, then you would have prorated the income amount, right? But over here, you don't have to perform any such proration, right?
Okay.
You have to prorate.
Mm.
For 1718, we will say that this whole 40,000 income will come, right? Then what do you think for 1819? 1819, when will this tax year start? See,
Let's just
1718,
start 6 17 to
18,
5 April 19.
19, right?
Mm.
So can you see that property was given on rent for 3 years?
Okay.
Okay. So this is the first year, 40,000. So that means this 1819, this is the second year, right?
Yes.
So again, this whole income of 40,000 will come, right?
Yes.
Okay. So again, I'm writing 40,000 over here.
Mm.
Okay, now the last year, because it is given for 3 years, right? So 1 and 2, that is done. Now the last year. So
Okay.
last year that is going to be, that will be 1920, right?
Yeah, 1920.
We'll start on 6th of April
6, yes.
19
5
till
April 20.
20, right? Again 40,000. Whole income will come, right? 40,000.
Yes.
Clear?
Yeah, very clear.
So if you want, you can copy this question, then we will move forward. So what is the question? That Mr. A has given his property on rent on 1st of July 18, right, for 1 year. Annual rent is 50,000. Now you have to tell that how much income will come in the tax year 1890. Okay, so whenever you have to perform your calculation, you will always perform your calculation according to the tax year. Okay. So as you can see that you have to perform calculation for 1819, right? So the tax year of 1819, that will basically start from 6th of April
6th of
18
April
till 5th of
to
April
5
19,
April.
right? Okay, that is the tax year 1819. Okay, so how much is your income? 50,000, right? That is your rental income, 50,000. But the point is that this whole income come in the tax year 1819? What do you think? Will this whole
You
income
need
come in?
to calculate the proportion
Right? Because
in terms of number of month.
exactly, because it was not given on rent from the start of tax year. In fact, it was given on rent on 1st of July 18. 1st of July 18.
Okay.
So it means that you have to count the months from 1st of July 18 till the end of the tax year. Okay, so from this date you will go till the end of tax year. So your tax year that will end on 5th of April 19, right? So normally,
Yes.
whenever you're performing your calculation, you will ignore the first 5 days of April. Okay, we will ignore it for the sake of simplicity. So it means that you will always calculate your months till 31st of March 19.
Okay.
Okay, you will just ignore the first 5 days of April. Okay. It
Okay.
means
Very
that you
clear.
will count your months from 1st of July 18 till 31st of March 19. Okay, you will go till the end of the year, end of the tax year, that is till 31st of March 19. So just
Okay.
start counting the months. The month of July, August, April,
August.
May, June,
Just nine
sorry,
months.
9 months. It means that you have to prorate your income over 9 months.
9 months.
50,000 into 9 by 12, right? Because this is an
Yes.
annual
Divided
income,
by
that
12.
means for
Yes.
12 months.
Yes.
That will be 37,500, right? So it means that in the tax year 1819, only 9 months income will come. Okay, and the remaining 3 months income that will fall in the next tax year, right? Because you have given the property on rent for 1 year, right? And you have
Yes.
received a rent of 50,000. But on this entire rent of 50,000, you will not pay tax in 1819. In
Okay.
1819, I will only pay tax on income of 37,500. Because
Yes.
only 9 months income will fall in the tax year 1819, right? And the remaining income, your remaining rental income, that will fall in the next tax year.
Very clear.
That will be 1920, right? So in 1920, this tax year will start on 6th of April 19 till 5th of April 20, right? Okay. So the remaining 3 months income that will fall in 1920.
Okay.
So 50,000 into 3 by 12, right?
Yes.
That is 12,500.
500. Yes.
So this is how this 12 months income will be taxed. The first 9 months income that will fall in 1890 and you will pay tax on it. And the last 3 months income that will fall in 1920 and accordingly you will pay tax on 12,000.
Very, very clear for me.
Now one more question for you to try. Mr. A has given property on rent for 1 year. Okay, on 1st of October 17. Okay, annual rent is 70,000. Now you have to tell me that how much income will fall in 1718 and how much income will fall in 1819. Okay, so can you please solve this question for me?